Hi, welcome to Hypno Live 24/7 Network. This is Greg Beckett, motivational hypnotist here, and it's another episode of Time to Get Unstuck. And we have a wonderful guest. I'm laughing because I never get her name right, and I'm going to get it right. I'm going to do this right. Kelli Von Heydekampf. No? Yes? Is that right? Yes?
Yes.
There's your, I heard you. So we have Kelli here today, but before we get into Kelli and I's discussion, I want to talk a moment about our sponsors, which is, we've talked before about Hypno Thoughts Live, which is every August in Las Vegas, and it's a wonderful thing. And Kelli and I know each other from there. We met several years ago. But now there's Hypno Thoughts Platinum, which is going to be 3 full days with 6 speakers in San Diego, and it's February 28th, 29th, and March 1st, 2020. And leap year weekend, or 3 days, right? And it's going to be 6, forward-thinking, thought-provoking, successful hypnotists teaching us all in one room. Steve Ream, and I believe he's from like Arkansas or somewhere. He's really good at conversational hypnosis. Ken Guzzo, Melissa Tears, Kelly Woods. Let's see, Ken Guzzo, Melissa Tears, Steve Ream, and then Jason Lynette and David Snyder. Yeah. So it's we know all of these people, right?
Yes. Yes.
And they're all fantastic teachers, no matter what your level is. If you
Amazing.
You're going to get something out of those 3 days. So if you go to htplatinum.net and check it out, you can find out all the information. It's limited participants, I guess, is what you say. Mm-hmm. So check it out when you get a chance. But now I want to get back to us and Time to Get Unstuck, which, as some of you that are new to this, it's about moving forward. Because you can't really get unstuck, you can only move forward. And we take a word that's been important in my journey, or clients, friends, and it comes up often. But today what's really interesting is Kelli asked me if she could do a certain word, and I said sure. So Kelli's word is sufficiency.
Yes.
So to me, it's all new, this word sufficiency, and we're going to talk about sufficiency. So welcome, Kelli, who actually, she's a professional hypnotist in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yes, I am.
So
thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here with you.
Thanks for being here. I every time I see you and get to see you at conferences, or the occasion during the year that we actually get to talk about clients or work on something together, it just always brings me joy to see you. So thanks for being here.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Sufficiency. Here we go. What is it?
So sufficiency, it's interesting because when we started this, you said, is that even a word? Is it in the dictionary? And so we looked it up just to get the dictionary version, and it said it's a noun, and it's about having enough of something essential. Having, I believe the word they used was adequate. And because you're talking about getting unstuck and moving forward, and I think in our profession, one of the ways that we most benefit our clients is by always looking at our own stuff and ways that we are stuck and how we need to be finding ways to move forward. So this word sufficiency came about. I'm doing an online course, and it's actually about money and about sort of a lot of the limiting beliefs that many of us have about money. And the woman who's doing the course, her name is Lynn Twist, and she actually wrote a book called The Soul of Money. She's done a lot of work around this, but she was talking about how in our society we are conditioned to see lack all around us. And if we really start to pay attention to the cultural and the societal messages that are embedded everywhere, it's lack of time. We know this to be true because everybody's running around. I don't have time to do this. I'm so busy.
Our perception of that.
Exactly.
Okay. I just want to be clear that we're talking about our perception.
Yes. Yes. But we're constantly reinforcing it I don't have time. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to work out. We hear this from our clients all the time. Just time is a huge, huge issue. Not having enough time, not having enough money, not having enough resources. I mean, we're just, if we start to pay attention to how embedded the idea of lack is in our culture and our society, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And so part of my journey of moving forward is to begin to break through those, my own habits of seeing lack. And it takes a moment of awareness. And sometimes, we go from one extreme to the other. And the idea of being prosperous and being abundant and all of these things, they feel really good and they're very exciting. But sometimes it's a huge leap to make, to go from lack, I don't have enough of something, I'm not adequately resourced in an area.
Could I just say, or even just adequate?
Yes. To go to, I have an abundance of time. I have an abundance of money. Sometimes that leap is so big. And so when she introduced this idea of sufficiency, that we don't have to make that huge leap, we can just go, have the realization that I have enough, that it's adequate, that it is, and adequate to me has sort of I'm not a fan of that word, but sufficient really got me excited, because I don't have to go all the way to, I have too much of everything. I have enough. And when I have enough, it means that I'm making a choice to change my perception, because the amount of everything that I thought I was lacking hasn't necessarily changed, but I'm changing my perception and allowing myself to be okay with it right now.
All right. So I'm hearing the definition. I'm hearing your explanation about it.
Yes.
I'm going to put a twist or a change what my thought goes to. Okay?
And that's why I like talking to you, Greg, because you always kind of challenge me.
So you're talking about things that we're sufficient. We have enough. But I want to twist it to a little bit to I'm enough.
Absolutely. Yes.
I have enough. I am enough. Yes. There is enough around me. I am sufficient, because I know so often with clients, friends, all of us moving forward, we're in a lower point of our vibration or our feelings or who we are and what we have. We're in the lack mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so with you saying sufficiency or sufficient, the sufficiency or I am sufficient, or everything is sufficient, right? Because that would be the individual term of sufficiency, right?
Yeah, and this I'm glad you brought up that point, because absolutely, it's not just about things. It's not about things at all. It's really about beingness as well. And so we don't. And oftentimes, that which keeps us stuck is the thought process. Well, I can't do that new thing. I can't be that confident person.
I'm not good enough.
Exactly, until these things are in place, and these things can't be in place because I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. Da 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 da.
My favorite phrase.
And
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Ann. Go ahead.
And so when we get to a place of, I am enough. I'm enough right now. I'm making that choice to switch my perception to be enough. Well, then all of those doors open up to be able to move into that place.
So with that and being enough and moving into that place, there's two things. One is when we go to that place, I think it requires sometimes faith.
Yes.
For whatever that means to you, whether it's Jesus, Allah, Buddha, Christ, whatever it is, or within yourself or the universe, whatever that is for you, whoever's listening. But
yes.
Having that faith that in that moment you are sufficient. You have enough. Yes. Now, my favorite question, yes. I don't have children, but I have a lot of yes. friends that do. I know that you have children, some lovely children that have been raised well, in my viewpoint, from what I've seen and heard, that you're a no-nonsense mom.
Thank you.
You like that, right?
Thank you.
But what it is
Yes.
I always ask clients, especially the younger ones that are coming in and not feeling enough or whatever, and they can't do this because they're finding the excuses of why not, because that's what they've been taught, right? And I go, when is the right time to have a baby? Because people plot and plan and stuff, and suddenly then they have difficulty or whatever. It's when it shows up, right? The answer is when the baby shows up, that's when it's the right time, so to speak.
Yep.
Or teaching children certain things. It's when they ask. Here it is. Even though you've been putting it off, as an adult, to nieces, nephews, kids. I don't want to talk about that. Hi, where do babies come from? Or whatever it is.
I have a really funny story about that. I don't know if this is the right place to talk about it, but sometimes
it's always the right place at the right time or enough.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to dive into it and get the ball rolling.
So you had a story or no?
Well, it was about, when you say, when is the right time to teach your kids about certain things.
Yeah.
I was in a parenting group, and my oldest daughter was in 7th grade, and we had been talking about sex and when is the right time to talk to your kids about sex. And, it needs to be an ongoing conversation. And she brought up something that she mentioned that, typically our kids are 2 years ahead of where we think we might see them from what they're thinking about sex.
Right.
So I went home that day, and my daughter was sitting at the computer. And so I just went for it. I just dove right in. She was doing something on the computer, and I said, "Do you know what oral sex is?" And her jaw dropped with just more. And she said, "I think I do." And I said, "Well, do you need to know? I mean, would it be beneficial for you to know?" And she kept slowly, and she's like, "Yeah, it actually would kind of be." So I just explained it to her, and then went on and about my day and got cookies and milk out or something.
Casually went back into the kitchen.
But that just floored her, that I just dove right into it, and then gave her the information she needed and gave her the proper information. And I will say that my kids have educated many, many other kids on proper terminology and stuff. But I think this ties in directly to this idea of sufficiency, because then it allows us to get over all of the complicated thinking, and now it's not right. It's not the right time. It's not the right place. It's not what if I screw it up and all of this, and you just do it, and you begin to realize such deep trust and resilience in yourself. And my youngest daughter just recently, she said, "You really love that word, don't you? You just, every time you open your mouth, you're always saying resilience." And I said, because I think at the end of the day, that's what we all want to know. We all want to know, no matter what age you are, we all want to know that we're going to be okay.
Yeah, and you know what that is? As I hear you say those things, I go, it always comes back to fear. Breaking through that fear that holds us back, that we're fed every day. Every day we're fed that we're not enough, like you're saying. Every day that we're supposed to, let's get the insurance, let's get this, let's do that. What if an you know what, the radio. Oh, it's flu season, better get that flu shot. Yeah, we may need to get that. That's fine. But why do we have to hear about all the things that might happen? It's all fear-based push. Right?
Yes.
So it's about being more sufficient, knowing that we're okay, doing what we need to do, and moving forward. Now, let me ask you. Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with you.
I have a question for you. When talking about this word sufficiency, how do you find that helps with your hypnosis clients along with hypnosis? Does that make sense, the question?
Yes. So I don't necessarily use that word, but I frame it in, I am enough. So depending on where the lack is showing up, and lack is fear. That's so. Right. So it's either, and my gosh, it could be for anything. I mean, time is all of my clients come in with time issues. I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to prepare healthy meals. I don't have time to pay attention to my ability to create relaxation in my mind and body. So that sometimes is a hurdle. And so one of the suggestions that we have to build into the session is I have enough time to do what is important. I've always had enough time to do what is important. And when you point that out, when you have them retrospectively look back, that all of the important stuff has always gotten done.
And the energy is wasted on the worry that we don't.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it takes away all the, because then if we don't think we have enough time, we go to the coulda, shoulda, wouldas.
Yes.
Which then puts us in the past, which then makes us sad. And it's a circular, it's just a spiral to I'm not good enough. I don't have enough.
It becomes it's the self-fulfilling prophecy. It's that cycle, and you've got to break that cycle. As it pertains to, not enough time, I think one of the most beneficial things that I point out and teach every single one of my clients is the conscious mind's ability to understand time perception. And that it is that the conscious thinking mind understands past and it understands future. The subconscious doesn't care because the subconscious is only right now. So as we ruminate over the past and as we worry about the future, the subconscious just goes on doing what it's always done, propagating those old habits, those things that keep us stuck, because it says, well, she's not doing any of the things that she says she's going to do right now, so I'm not going to pay attention to it. And we give up our power when we move out of right now. We give up all of our connection to our inner resources because we can only do that in the moment. We can only do that right now. So I know that being present is like a big buzzword and everything, and being mindful and being right. But a lot of people don't understand what that really means. And when you tell them you can only take an action right now.
Right. Yeah.
You can only make a choice right now. So if you're making the choice based on tomorrow, that doesn't exist.
You can have a plan, but it needs to be fluid, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to go to work. I plan on going to work. I plan on doing this. I plan on doing that. And maybe I have to go through a detour to get there. It's being open. Exactly. I know my mantra that I use many times, sometimes all day, some days. And
I know those days.
Is I'm always in the right place at the right time, doing what I'm supposed to be doing, saying what I'm supposed to be saying. And that, for me, when you talk about sufficiency, is reminding me that I'm where I'm supposed to be, doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's okay to alleviate. It helps me in my personal life and business, everything, to alleviate those feelings that come up that we just, you know what, you're no use to me. Because we have feelings that are created from here. I mean, I talk a lot about living here, and this is just an employee. Here's the boss down here, the employees here. And then sometimes we got to say, nope, I'm not thinking that anymore. Nope, we're not going to do it. Retraining the employees, giving them a new manual, office manual or whatever, so that we can get working for ourselves and figure out how to limit our intake of all the negative lack. I want to say inefficient, but insufficient stuff that people are feeding, and TV and everything is feeding us all the time. All the billboards, everything is saying, if you don't have this, you're not happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And that was a big eye-opener when I understood that happiness was a choice I had to make, because I had fulfilled all of the requirements that our society tells us are mandatory.
Checked all the boxes. Everything.
I did. It was every single box. It was every single box, and then some were checked off.
You were a good girl.
I was. And I remember standing in my home one day, and I thought, I've done everything I was taught to do. I've done everything that everyone has said, this is the equation. This is how you attain happiness. And why do I feel empty? And it was a really eye-opening moment for me, because I thought, well, I can't be happy and all my boxes are checked, if I can't be happy, who the hell can be? So it started a really fabulous journey for me.
Well,
Timer's going off.
I know, I'm trying to turn it off. That means our time, we've been talking for a while.
I know, but wasn't it awesome to know that you and I were in the right and perfect place at the right and perfect time, doing the right and perfect thing, talking to one another?
Yes, and I want you to finish that thought if there's anything left about if I checked off all the boxes and I did all the right things and I was still not happy.
Yeah.
That puts you on the journey of growth and change, you said. I think if I
understood it had to, my happiness was not dependent on external circumstances, that I had to make a choice, and it was an internal process, and I was relying on all of the external things to bring it to me, and I had to decide to step into that place and discover it outside of the external factors.
Yeah.
I think I've done a pretty good job. I'm still on my journey.
We're all on a journey, whether we decide to or not, it's there. I did an episode on happiness with a wonderful guest, Michaela, and she was saying, because she wrote a book, and if someone wants to look up that episode, because we're so limited on time, she said happiness, people ask me all the time, and it was about being happy without the things that I thought that was going to make me happy. And once I was happy without those things, they came.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? She was happy within herself, and it allowed space for things to come. So, so our time.
I hope I changed your mind a little bit about sufficiency, because I know you were kind of like, "Ooh, I don't know if I like that word."
Well, I learned about. I didn't know what the word was, because sometimes, a lot of people make up words. So I knew it was a real word. Once I knew it was in the dictionary, we all make things up to fit in what we need. So it was great that I knew that.
Absolutely.
I learned a lot, and I want to thank you for being here. I want to ask you before we go, where could people find you if they want to have, do you do online sessions, by the way?
I do online sessions. I also do custom recordings.
And in-person stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
So how would they find you, Miss Kelli?
My website is westmetrohypnosis.com.
Okay.
So that's my website, and telephone number is 952-222-3975.
Cool. And everybody can find me here. Greg Beckett, Motivational Hypnotist, and hypnosisla.com is my website. Also, if you want to follow me on Instagram as Motivational Hypnotist, that would be cool, or Facebook page. Thank you, Kelli, for being here. Thank you, Hypno Thoughts Platinum, for sponsoring us, and Hypno 24/7 Live for allowing us to do this show.
Yes.
And
love you, Greg.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye-bye.